There's a version of limitation that lives in your circumstances. And there's a version that lives in the language you use to describe your limitations, the beliefs that you inherited before you were old enough to question them, and the identity that you built to survive a version of your life you have long since outgrown. This show is here to dismantle the latter. I'm Jana Blage, your host of the Beyond Limitations podcast. Welcome. We go deep here into the decisions that feel heavy, the patterns that keep repeating, the places where something in you already knows it's time to move differently. Every episode created to give you something real, a framework, a reframe, a truth that shifts the way you see what is possible. Because the life and business you are building deserves more than surface level answers. Let's get into it.
What I want to talk about today is why staying busy is how we avoid feeling lost, especially for high achievers. Picture this, your calendar's always full. Your inbox never empties. And somewhere deep down inside, you no longer have an idea of who you are. I'm going to say something that may not feel good, but will feel uncomfortably accurate. Staying busy is not a personality trait. For a lot of high achievers, it's actually a coping mechanism, a very sophisticated, socially rewarded, professionally functional coping mechanism that masks something much quieter and much more important. The fact that slowing down would require you to feel the things you've not had time to feel and ask the questions you're not sure that you want the answer to. The mistake is when we treat productivity as an identity, when who we are is what we accomplish. Stillness becomes an external threat. If you stop doing, who are you? That question is terrifying enough that most of us never stop long enough to sit with it. The solution that we find is to stay in motion. More projects, more obligations, more goals, more. And the motion works as long as it keeps working. But there's always a moment, usually uninvited and inconvenient, when everything stops working. When the busyness no longer fully drowns out what's underneath. What is underneath is usually one of a few things. A life that's been built for achievement rather than meaning, a sense of self that has been constructed entirely from external metrics, relationships that have been deprioritized to the point of feeling unfamiliar, a spiritual hunger that has no outlet in the schedule, or simply grief for a version of yourself that you left behind in pursuit of the one that's performing now. None of these are comfortable to acknowledge, but all of them are more resolvable when you stop running from them, when you look at them and address them, admit that they're real. We have to create intentional stillness. Not a vacation, because most of us just bring the laptop anyway, not the meditation, if that feels like another performance. Actual stillness, 15 minutes with no phone, no tasks, no podcast, just sitting with whatever comes up and writing it down. Let it be uncomfortable. The discomfort is not the problem, it's feedback, a signal, it's data. That your most important work is not on your calendar, it's in your inner self. It is in your inner life, and your inner life has been waiting for you to make space for it. The most dangerous form of being lost is when you're too busy to notice. If any part of today's episode felt like an accurate description of your life, let this be your invitation to slow down long enough to hear what you've been running from. What you find there is not a threat. It is a beginning of a much more honest, much more alive version of what you are building.
This is where I will leave you today. If today's conversation shifted something for you, share it with a woman in your life who needs to hear it. That is how this work travels. I'm Jana Blage, and this is Beyond Limitations. The limitation was never the ceiling above you. It was always the story inside you, and you are the author. See you next time.